Okay, hey dolls. Today we're gonna jump straight into the video. These are some of the things you'll need to start this process. You'll need a demon brush, Murray's edge wax, jam, scissors, duckbill clamps, comb, brushes, and of course, the hair. For the purpose of this video, we'll be using Expressions braiding hair. This hair is really long. It's equivalent to having 3 packs of hair in one. So what we're going to do is divide this hair into 3 equal sections. You'll take one end of the hair and fold it upwards, and take the other end and leave it hanging downwards. And once you get your 3 sections equal, you'll take your scissors and cut it where it makes 2 creases. I do apologize that I'm not in camera range. I was filming this by myself, so please forgive me. So here I'm just folding the remainder of the hair in half, like I said, and cutting it at that second crease to get the 3rd section. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is take the hair in one hand and holding it tight toward the top, you're going to begin to pluck small strands out of the hair, elongating them. They don't all have to be even. Matter of fact, the purpose is to get them uneven. This process is called feathering. You want the ends to end up becoming smaller and smaller so that your braid can look as natural as possible. Once you're done plucking, grab the hair in the hand very tightly, take a comb or a demon brush, and brush out all the kinks. You'll see that the ends look very natural. Here I'm just showing you how I lay out my hair. Some people use sections that grow bigger and bigger, but I chose to keep my sections very small because her hair is already really thick. So the next thing you want to do is take a large comb and make sure all of the kinks and tangles are out of your client's hair. So here you'll just see me detangling her hair really quick. Okay, take a small tooth comb and begin to make your first section. Part a large section according to how you'll want your client's hair designed. So once you have your section parted and you've pinned over the remainder of her hair with duckbill clamps, you'll take some of your jam and apply it to both sides of that part. After you've applied the jam and brushed it through, you'll then take some Murray's edge wax and apply it to the edges. I don't always use Murray's edge wax. Sometimes I use got to be glue, and sometimes I just use the edge control. But for the sake of this video, because we wanted to be extra and do some little baby hairs, we decided to use the wax. Okay, so yeah, this is the point to which if you wanted some baby hairs or whatever, you would go ahead and set that in. So we've now made it to the good stuff. We're actually going to start braiding. Take a small section of your client's hair and divide it into 3 pieces. Once you have your 3 pieces, go ahead and start braiding the hair just as a normal cornrow. You'll make 3 to 4 stitches and then you'll begin to add hair. A stitch is when your fingers go from left to right and back from right to left. That will make 1 complete stitch. So here you'll see me take a small section of hair and adding it to the braid. The way this is done is you take 1 strand of hair and hold it between your pinky and your index finger. You wrap the other strand underneath the braid, and then once it's tucked, you make a complete stitch. When you make it back to your right hand, you take the strand that was tucked between your pinky and index and you wrap it around, and then you continue the process. So here you'll see me zoom in so that you can see it up close. I took that piece and wrapped it around. I made a complete stitch, and once my right hand was back free, I took the piece that was between my pinky and my index finger and I wrapped it underneath as well. You guys will be able to see this much clearer once we get to the other side of her head. So yeah, it has a pattern. Just say it in your head. Wrap, stitch, stitch, wrap. Wrap, stitch, stitch, wrap. So I wrapped that piece under, I made a stitch, and then I made another stitch, and then I wrapped the final piece under. So like I said, you just continue that process until the braid gets as big as you would like it. Once your braid has reached the size that you would like, you can stop adding hair and just braid it all the way down. Now you want to be sure that you make 2 stitches between those wraps, because if you make more or less, your braid won't come out right. You end up being able to see the hair on the edge of the braid, and that's not going to be very pretty. With a little more of that jam and just applying it to her roots. I'm going to part a small section and braid it without adding the weave. This will give her those little bitty designer braids in the middle. So here I'm just showing you guys our progress. I went ahead and finished 2 braids and added all of the small designer braids in between her parts. So now we're back to the edges. Again, I'm repeating the same process. I'm adding some jam on both sides of the part. Then I'm going in with the Murray's wax and setting her baby hairs. So once again, we're going to go in and take a small section of hair. We're going to divide it into 3 pieces and begin braiding like a normal cornrow. Once we've made about 3 to 4 stitches, we're going to begin adding the hair, or should I say feeding the hair into the braid, hence the name Feed In Braids. Now here I slowed it down because you can see very clearly how I'm starting the braid off and how I'm adding the hair in. You can see that I held that other piece tightly between my pinky and my index, and after I made my complete stitch, I took the hair from underneath my pinky and index and wrapped it around. Here I'm just going in with some argan oil and spritzing my client's scalp. You want to make sure you always moisturize your client's scalp because braids can be tender and they can make your scalp very sensitive, and we want to protect all of those hair follicles. Now we've reached the good part. As my clients say, they love when this foam touches their scalp. I guess the bubbles feel soothing. But this is a sign that we are almost done. Yes. So you apply mousse all over your client's scalp and braids, and you go ahead and tie it down so that the little bitty hairs that were sticking up, all of the frizzies, can lay down as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, don't talk about my rag, baby. Don't talk about my rag. I got this rag from my grandma years ago, and I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and clean up the braids. You take a pair of scissors and you just trim along the edges of the braids to make sure there are no little hairs sticking out. Now, if your client's hair is really long, such as mine, you do not want to trim all the way up to the root of her head. I'm telling you, you will end up cutting some of their hair. So you'll see that I'm only trimming about halfway up the braid. The same goes when dipping the braids into the hot water to seal them. You do not want to dip all the way up to the client's neck. That's equivalent of holding a flat iron on their hair for a very long time. You're basically damaging the ends of their hair and making it dry and brittle by burning it with that hot water. So you'll see that I'm only dipping her hair about halfway until I notice the braids get really, really full. That's an indication that her natural hair is in that section. Once you remove the braids from the water, you just dab them dry with the towel that you have. Be sure not to burn yourself nor your client. Okay, so here I'm setting my blow dryer to the highest setting of the middle heat, the medium heat. I'm going to just blow dry over my client's hair to ensure that foaming lotion has dried and set in, and also to give their scalp a cool little breeze. I'm also drying the ends of the braids as well that were dipped. Alright, you guys, so we finally made it to the end, and this is what your client's hair should look like. Now let me be the first to say, yes, baby, yes. So neat, so clean, so crisp. If you like this tutorial, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so that you can receive notifications of my weekly posts. And if you have any questions or comments, any other styles that you'd like to see me do, just leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get them to you. Alright, dolls, so that's all I have for now. I'll see you later.